Hey, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're at here in the US. My name is Jesse. I'm with Decker Truckline. This is our weekly Q&A here on YouTube. So if you guys have any questions, now is the time to ask. You can put it in the chat and I'll be answering them as they come in. In the meantime, or as those comments are coming in, I'll talk a little bit about some of the available positions we have here at Decker Truckline and what the month of December is going to look like for us. So thank you for being here. My name is Jesse. I'm with Decker Truckline. Every week we go live here on our YouTube channel to answer questions. We also go live on another social media platform every Monday at 4 p.m. Central. So if you don't join us here, you can join us there, or you can join us in both locations. Thanks so much for joining me today. Katie's there. You can see here behind the scenes there. It says hello from Fort Dodge. So thanks you guys again. So December, what does that look like? Well, of course, we've got lots going on. We are staying busy because you know what? We do refrigerated. We have some dry van. But our refrigerated positions and flatbed positions are currently available. We have some of those. We also have a hopper position available. So we'll dive deep into some of those specifics on the available positions. But to kind of give you a look at what it looks like for the rest of the month, we do have a referral bonus drawing that will be, well, technically it's at the end of December. So it's the 31st of December when that ends. However, because of the holiday, because of Christmas coming up, and then actually Thanksgiving, New Year's, what holiday is it? All right, because of New Year's, we're going to push that back to, I believe, the 2nd is the day that's happening. What does my calendar say? Yeah, it'll actually be Tuesday, the 2nd. So we will do the drawing on the 2nd of January for the referral. If you're wondering what on earth is the referral drawing, let me back up a little bit and tell you the details on our referral program. We have several bonuses throughout the month, and you'll see at the end of or about the 3rd pay period, which we pay every Friday, direct deposit. But about the 3rd pay period of every month is when we do our monthly bonuses. We have a scorecard bonus and we have a safety bonus for that. But we also have our referral bonuses that pay out within 90 days of hire. So if you refer somebody, you get paid at least $1,500. So it depends, of course, on how many you've referred within the calendar year. But you get paid $1,500 for every referral, up to $2,500 if you refer 6 or more within the calendar year. But it all pays out within 90 days of hire. So first dispatch, you'll get a $250 installment, another $250 installment at 30 days, and then at both 60 and 90 days, you'll get $500 installments. And that's for the $1,500, which is what most people are referring 1 to 3 drivers who are hired on. But again, 4 or 5, it brings you up. Not only do you have the referral pay incentive, but you also have the tumbler and $100 gift card and business card. And what else? There's a whole lot. Come 5 referrals, you get a referral jacket. So the top referral jacket. You also get your name into a drawing for every driver you refer within that quarter. Your name goes into a drawing for a chance at either a laptop, a tablet, or cash. So far, everybody has requested cash. I get it. It works. So, and I shouldn't say cash. It's actually, it goes on your settlement. So you'll get paid direct deposit for that. So you don't have to track that down. Because I know you guys are out on the road. Let's make life a little bit easier. But it's $1,000 is what most people prefer. Your choice, though, if your name is in the drawing. If you refer 2 people within that quarter, your name is going to go in there twice. So, and remember, these are not only referrals, but referrals who are hired on. So Dean is here. Hey, Dean, how are you? Ankeny, and it's cold. It is so ridiculously windy here. I've been thinking a lot about you guys today, mostly because if you're out on the road and you're dealing with any of the wind that we have here in central Montana, which I do know is one of the worst spots, just think of you, making sure that you've got, if you're not loaded, play it safe. Know what your weather is like no matter where you're at. So be prepared. Check the Weather Channel. Check for updates. There is a forecast. What's the Facebook page? Forecasts and weather alerts and forecasts. It's a fantastic Facebook group. So if you're not part of that, I would highly suggest being part of that. We kind of look in on that on a regular basis, especially during the winter. I don't so much during the summer, but or the spring, but definitely wintertime. So check that out. Anyways, back to the referral bonus. We do have our final quarterly drawing coming up for the end of the year or the end of the quarter, but that's actually going to be on the 2nd of January. So I do know that it's the 31st is when everything wraps up, but we'll do the drawing on the 2nd. So that's how that works. If you guys have questions at all on the referral bonus, please reach out to us. If you have a referral that you want to send in, you can get a hold of the recruiting department, which the telephone number, by the way, is flying across the screen back and forth. You can get a hold of them there, and they'll be able to get the ball rolling on whoever it is that you're referring. Requirements. I get that you probably don't know all of the ins and outs for every single position, and we do not expect you to. That's why we have a recruiting department to answer those questions. They stay in connection with the operations department to make sure that we're all on track and in agreement with everything so that we're communicating back and forth. With the available positions, or I guess with the qualifying factors for the available positions, you do need to be at least 21 years of age. No DOT recordable accidents, preventable of course. No major moving violations within the last 3 years either. And of course, a valid Class A CDL, and either be a recent graduate for some of our positions, or at least 6 months of flatbed experience or a year of tractor trailer for our over-the-road flatbed division. So those are the requirements. Now we do have a one-off position that does have higher, stricter qualifications, and that is our local position out of Bessemer, Alabama. So we have a local flatbed opportunity that does require 5 years of flatbed experience. Again, no major moving violations, no preventable DOT recordable accidents within the last 3 years, and 5 years of flatbed experience. It is a local position. It does pay hourly based off your experience level. So if you have 5 years versus someone who has, 7 or 10, you're going to be paid a little bit more per hour. It's hourly. We have a terminal in Bessemer, Alabama. However, Fort Dodge, Iowa is our main terminal, and you'll come up here for orientation. We'll take care of your hotel, your meals. We'll take care of transportation up here. So all of that Decker will take care of. We do have a repayment agreement that you'll see that kind of breaks everything down. Make sure you have a valid DOT physical. If you don't already, we'll get that scheduled for you before you come on up here. We'll also take care of obviously we'll do your DOT, your analysis as well. When you arrive in Fort Dodge for the 3-day orientation, you'll have the hair follicle along with the driving test when you get up here. But the DOT, your analysis, and the DOT physical, we like to get done ahead of time. Speaking of getting done ahead of time, we have an online orientation that we like to basically get you prepped for the in-person orientation, which again, the in-person orientation is in Fort Dodge, Iowa. The online orientation consists of a video followed by a number of questions, usually about 3 or 4 questions for every video. Another video, questions, and then back and forth, like throughout that series to talk about, give you a little bit of background on Decker. Been around since 1931, stable financial company that takes care of our drivers, our professional drivers who, we were talking birthdays and anniversaries on Monday, and we definitely have some celebratory mile markers that we can celebrate. So yeah, anyways, Danny Marr, how are you? Near Houston, 63 degrees outside. Weather is not too bad. Woo, yeah, it is. It's not cold here. I'm in Montana. We have a terminal in Missoula, Montana as well, but I'm in Montana and it's not cold. It's actually strangely warm. I think it's supposed to be 60 today. I don't know what it actually is, but it's a fairly warm day. It's extremely windy, so you have to like put down a stake every step that you take because you're gonna blow away. You see garbage cans flying and some, hopefully none of these Amazon packages or FedEx packages or anything like that are coming across for everybody for coming for Christmas, right? You don't want to be losing your packages. Yeah, it's windy. With that said, please make sure that you are checking the weather forecast for wherever you're traveling so that you can plan ahead and give yourself a little bit extra time for those areas that are either icy or windy, where you need to take it a little bit slower to stay safe. So yeah. Danny says, can you talk more about the driving tests that you mentioned at orientation? I'm a new trainee. I can talk a little bit about it, but I personally have never been on one of the driving tests. So all that I know about our driving tests are that for the refrigerated, you'll go in, it's roughly about 15 minutes to half hour. You'll go in, do some parking maneuvers, backing in for refrigerated. So if you have to hit back into a dock, you'll do that. Usually, because it's in Fort Dodge, you're not always going in and entering the interstate and off the interstate. So it does take a little bit of time to do that. And just kind of maneuvering through town and exits. So that's the basics of it. It's not overly complicated, but we're looking for basics. We're looking for habits as well, making sure that we're, when you're coming aboard to Decker, that you're going to be a good fit, that you are, safety conscious, that kind of thing. As for a flatbed, we don't do as much backing, and it's not like you're doing nonstop backing, but we do have that we go through. Just to be honest, yeah, nothing too fancy. Yeah, we don't have an obstacle course that you're going through, which funny enough, during driver appreciation, was it last year? I know the year before we did the obstacle course. Like it was the in-house people that would do the obstacle course, non-drivers, and it's obviously on the lot, so we're not putting anybody in any danger or safety issues or anything like that, but just recognizing the ins and outs and how difficult it is to drive a tractor trailer when you've never driven one before. But being new, that's something that you're probably quite familiar with at this moment. But obviously, you've gone through the training. So if you are a new student, you just recently graduated from a approved school, of course, and if you haven't already spoke to one of our recruiters, it's 877-433-2537 for anybody who is looking to come aboard. As a student, it's not a 3-day orientation. It would then be a full week, a 5-day orientation instead of a 3-day orientation. The 3-day is for experienced drivers with a minimum of 6 months of experience. The week-long is for someone who's just recently graduated from an approved school. And if you're wondering whether or not your school is approved, feel free to ask because I can look that up for you. But you can also reach out to one of the recruiters and get more specifics on that as well. But for a student, I was trying to think of, there are obviously a little bit more time in the orientation itself, but we do require that the course that you just completed is 160 hours minimum, and that you are a recent graduate, meaning it wasn't 8 months ago. It's within the last month or so that you graduated in order to qualify for the training position. And following the week-long orientation, you'll have 2 to 3 weeks with a trainer. So you're paid $500 for orientation, and then you're paid $700 a week to go out with a trainer for new drivers. Now, again, there is an exception. If you're looking to apply for the over-the-road flatbed division, we require that you have a year of tractor trailer experience, and then we'll train you, or you have 6 months of flatbed specific trailer experience. The exception is that Bessemer position, that local Bessemer position that requires 5 years of flatbed experience. Cool? All right, just want to make sure that's clear and that I'm not causing any confusion there. Orientation, not only do you have the online orientation, but when you arrive in Fort Dodge, we'll go through company policies and procedures. And did I say hair follicle? You'll have the hair follicle and the driving test. You'll meet different management, so you'll kind of have face to names type of thing. Meet with the communications department, Katie, she's behind the scenes here. Katie, you'll meet with her. She'll give you an idea of what our communication methods are. We have a weekly newsletter that goes out usually on Monday afternoon that keeps you in the loop on what's going on here at Decker. Usually some safety advice, shout outs, awards. She fills that full of fun and helpful information. And then we also have our communication through our social media platforms, which we have live Q&As. We also give updates on like our Facebook page, our Facebook page, and then we have a Facebook group. We also, not only do we have a Facebook group as the company, but our professional drivers have created a Facebook group as well, just to stay in contact and help support each other. It's pretty impressive how well they're how well engaged they are in that Facebook group. Whether it's trying to troubleshoot an APU unit or a heater, which is common this time of year. By the way, we do have multiple videos out on our YouTube that you can check out. Our YouTube channel has APU troubleshooting, bunk heater troubleshooting. We have an updated one that just came out on the Tri-Pac. So feel free to check those out afterwards if you are having any issues with that. But there's quite a few resources there that you can use. We also have, in addition to the newsletter that comes out, we also have a podcast, a periodic podcast that shares information as well, kind of gives behind the scenes. And we do communicate, our driver managers communicate with our drivers through the Transfo Geotab system, which is a tablet. You will scan your documents or actually take a picture of your paperwork. And you want to make sure you take a picture of all of your paperwork to get that into payroll. And then make sure at least one page has a signature on it. That's a requirement. Okay, and you get your paperwork in by Tuesday night, so tonight, in order to get paid Friday for that. So it's a quick turnaround for you. Danny says, my DOT medical exam, February 2023, expires 2025. I should be okay on that, correct? Yes. However, you do want to send it in to your recruiter so that they can get it signed off on. But yeah, as long as it's at least 6 months old, as long as it's at least 6 months old and it's good for at least another 6 months, you should be golden. They just need to sign off on it, make sure that they've shown it, and then you'll have, we'll just schedule you for the year analysis before you get here instead of both of them. So yep. And when you send it in to the long form in, not just the card. Should I look to get more recent year? We have to do a new year analysis. That's DOT requirement. Before orientation. Yeah. Danny, when you talk to your recruiter, they will schedule all of that. They'll first get you approved, and approving, besides obviously meeting the qualifications, we are required to get your employment verifications for the last 3 years. Non-driving, obviously, if you're a new driver. So we'll get all of your work history verified for the last 3 years, and of course make sure that your application is completed to the fullest. So okay, super says. Awesome. Yeah, so that's usually the process, and then we go ahead and take care of your meals while you're here. We'll take care of your hotel, and we do not shack you up with anybody in their solo rooms. They're I think breakfast, or at least continental breakfast, is at the hotel, but we definitely take care of your meals as well when you're here at Decker. And then you'll walk through, if you're not a student and if you're an experienced driver and you're going from the orientation directly into a truck instead of into a trainer truck, then you'll get a walkthrough with the maintenance department, and they'll just kind of go through everything. Our trucks are fully loaded, so I think it surprises a lot of people when they're walking through the trucks, the checklist with the maintenance department, recognizing that we have an APU, we have an inverter, we have a refrigerator and a microwave and a TV. The TV it has satellite television. It's a smart TV, 100 plus channels. It's company paid, Showtime, Cinemax, HBO, Sunday Ticket. So all of that is included. We have free Wi-Fi in the truck. We've got the TransFlow system, the tablet. We do have both inward and outward facing event recorders. Those are not a live feed. They kick on they're triggered like during critical events. So following too close, erratic lane change, hard braking, speeding, like those type of things will trigger the inward facing event recorders. What else do we have in the trucks? CB units, did I mention that? Both the driver's side and the passenger side seats are air ride. They're double bunk trucks. I'm trying to think of what else I can tell you. These are very well equipped trucks. Most of them are the 579 Pete's. We do have some Volvos and a combination. So for flatbed, you're looking at like a 740. For refrigerated, either 780 or 860, usually for the flatbed or the refrigerated division. And I'm trying to think, they're newer models. So with the trucks, we keep the average age of them is usually between 16 and 18 months. But you're looking at the oldest one would probably be, let's see, it's coming up on 24. It's probably a 2020 right now. We usually keep them to about four years. 2020 might be pushing that one. But yeah, those are going to be the oldest that you're seeing. And we do sell trucks. We have Decker Truck and Sales that's available for any of our trucks that are coming out of our fleet. But the newer ones, as we're getting new ones, obviously we're upgrading our veteran drivers first before any of our new drivers are coming in. Danny says, breaker, I'm going to need to work on my CB lingo. Smokey and the Bandit. You know what? You're going to have to. In your downtime, you'll have to pull up the Smokey and the Bandit on Netflix or I don't know, on TV, on the TV and get familiar with some of the lingo, right? I tried to look up some of the lingo that I didn't know. There's way too much out there that was way over my head. So, yeah, I just, there's some things that I was learning that I was like, that doesn't seem right. I can't remember why I was doing that. I think it was, I was putting together a post or something for, maybe Driver Appreciation Week. I can't remember, but I was trying to like put together some, like fun clips. It was way over my head. I got lost in it and it was sad. So we just stopped right there. But I do love my Smokey and the Bandit videos. Seen too many of those. What else for the truck? Those suckers are really well. We do have the Sirius radio. They're all equipped with that, but you would have to hold the subscription. So the television, Decker holds the subscription to that. You're not responsible. But if you do want to take advantage of the Sirius radio and use that, you would have to have the subscription for it. But again, we have free Wi-Fi, so it's pretty common for people to just use the free Wi-Fi and then stream their music. So I find that to be pretty common. Totally up to you. Okay. What else can I tell you about orientation and the process? Again, it's about 3 days for an experienced driver, and it's a week long for orientation for an inexperienced driver. And then from orientation, you go straight into a trainer truck for 2 to 3 weeks. Once you are done with the trainer truck, you would go, and the trainer, we would get you into your own truck, and then you'd walk through everything with the maintenance department that I was talking about an experienced driver would do right out of orientation. Now, we have minimum pay for most of our positions. The exception would be that flatbed position that I was talking about that's out of Bessemer, Alabama. That one requires 5 years of experience, but and 5 years of flatbed experience. But other than that, most of them, and that's hourly pay, most of them have that minimum pay where it's either $1,000 a week or $14.50 for some of our flatbed positions. We have 5 days out at a time for that. We have a refrigerated position that can get you home every 5 days. That one actually has a minimum of, it's a minimum of $700 a week. That's a new opportunity. It's a very limited area that we hire from out of there. Basically the Chicago area, because that is quite busy for us, whether it be refrigerated or flatbed. The upper Midwest is super busy for us. Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, southern Michigan, southern Minnesota, Wisconsin, Kansas. Did I mention Kansas? Northern Missouri, especially, whether it be refrigerated or flatbed. Those are busy areas altogether. Refrigerated, flatbed. Those are the two positions we have available out of the area. Our dry van, and I was asked this quite a bit yesterday, but our dry van is full, so I don't have any positions available in dry van, so it's refrigerated and flatbed. I do have a hopper position out of Fort Dodge, Iowa, if you live within 25 miles of Fort Dodge. That one is paid per shift and not with the minimum pay. The minimum pay per week, you get either the minimum pay or you get your rate of pay per mile and the miles that you run. You're going to get the better of the two, as long as you meet the minimum requirements for the minimum pay. As long as you meet the qualifications for the minimum pay, which are pretty basic. Be available for dispatch 5 days out of the week. No load refusal, so no driver service failures. So those are the three. And then no CSA points for the week, no preventable accidents for the week, and get your paperwork in on time. Pretty basic, right? And when I say driver service failures, I mean late loads that are caused by you, the driver. If it's a shipper or receiver that's causing the late load, that's not going to fall back on you. Okay. Danny says, so my recruiter says my app was approved and set orientation for January 2nd. I think I should bring all my certificates and documents. Anything else I should bring besides personals? Yeah, definitely bring your certificates and documents. When it comes to like your benefits programs, benefits start after 60 days. You'll want to fill out, anybody who's going to be on your benefits, you'll need their date of birth, their full name, date of birth, and social. So you've got that all written down and submitted, so it's taken care of. If you do that ahead of time instead of waiting to do it on the road, it's so much easier, because then you're not flipping through and then trying to get it in. It's way easier to do it ahead of time. So those are things that I would bring. Definitely bring, I'm not sure, did you say where you're at? Houston. Definitely bring some warm clothes. Coming from the Houston area into the Midwest can be an awakening experience. I mean, you don't know if you're going to have ice and high winds, if you're going to have snow. It might be a beautiful day, but odds are in January, it should be that way in December too, but you're going to be pretty chilled, I'd say, in comparison. So make sure you have gloves, boots, and warm clothes, a coat, not just a sweatshirt, okay? I think that would be important. We do try and get you towards home on one of your first dispatches, but again, if you are going to go out with a trainer, you're going to be limited to what you can bring. Just make sure you bring some warm clothes, and if you're going into your own truck and everything, you'll need sleeping, at least a sleeping bag and pillow, if nothing else. Once you have your own truck, you can get it all equipped with the blankets and bedding and all of that good stuff. But yeah, Danny says, yes, wife's info. I better write that stuff down for insurance. I can't remember her birthday. Oh, that is dangerous ground. I hope you're kidding. There's like fighting words right there, right? Yeah, those are all things. Speaking of wife, we do allow riders, and riders 10 years and older, obviously 10 years being for kids, but 10 years and older for the rider policy. We also allow dogs as 80 pounds or less, non-aggressive breeds. If you have more than one dog, it's 60 pounds combined is the max. But again, they're non-aggressive breed. It's a $500 deposit for the dog or the rider policy. The rider policy is $25 a month, but the dog policy is $500, and $250 is refundable. Yeah, that's how that works. And actually for the dog policy, like going another step, we do require that you have a, what do I want to say, a seat cover for the seats. You can get them in Fort Dodge at the shop or at the store, or you can also, like pick them up anywhere you find seat covers. But those are a requirement for the dog policy. And then we have a dog washing station in Fort Dodge. We also have designated dog areas or pet areas, I think that's what they're called, at our different locations. So that's always nice as well. But we have one dog washing center, and that's in Fort Dodge. Yeah. Okay, what else can I tell you to bring? If you are going solo right out of, you'll want to pick up some non-perishables, because especially with the winter, you don't want to be stuck along your way without anything. That makes me think to remind you guys to add additive, to include additive when you're fueling, because our APU units, which are there to keep you warm, work with the bunk heaters to keep you warm, but our APU units on the truck are diesel powered, and our refrigerated units are also obviously diesel powered. So not only do you add the fuel additive in the truck, but the reefer unit, and of course that's feeding into the APU. The truck is feeding into the APU. So yeah, that's all part of it. Please make sure that you do that. If you gel up, and this might be new to some of you, especially if you're in the South, if you gel up, not only does that cause you downtime for your own hours in time, but then you're getting cold because you don't have anything to keep you warm, and it's very expensive to have somebody come out and, your fuel filter is going to be all gelled up, all clogged, and it's a mess to get that taken care of because it's expensive. It cuts into your drive time, and yes, we have our minimum pay, but the miles and your rate of pay per mile are usually exceeding that. So I'm sure you want to keep going. But my point is, make sure that you are putting your additive in when needed, especially if you're coming from the South, because the South, they don't treat the fuel like we do up here in the Northwest or even into the Midwest, because the temperatures don't necessarily require it. So even though if you're in the Midwest or the Northwest, you still want to put additive in the fuel. You just might not, you don't have to worry about it as much as when you're coming from the South with fuel from the South that doesn't have any additive in it. So just follow the instructions on whatever additive you're using, whether it's for 50 gallons, 200 gallons, 100 gallons, whatever. Just make sure you're following the label, right? Other things to bring for orientation. Don't forget a charger, right? A charger, all of your toiletries, toothbrush, shampoo, that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think of what else. Employment verifications and stuff like that we should have ahead of time. We like to do that ahead of time so that it doesn't hold you up for dispatch. And I imagine that your recruiter probably has already done so or has the majority of them already done. The second, for somebody who's starting in January, that's pretty good timing for someone who doesn't have experience, because you're coming right out of the gate, starting with a new company, new year, only have to worry about one W-2, chasing that down. Which, by the way, totally sidetracked. For all of our current drivers, if you do not have an updated address in our system, please reach out to your driver manager immediately with an updated address, with all of your updated information. Not only do we have W-2s coming at the end of January, but we also have Christmas gifts that are headed out to you very, very soon. So please make sure that you have the updated address, or that we have the updated addresses for you in our system. Cool? All right. George, how are you? Big lunch today, he says. You love your tacos. I'm having tacos for dinner tonight. Yes, chicken tacos. Danny says, one more question. Sorry to hog you are totally fine. So after orientation, as long as it goes well, should I expect to hit the road with a trainer or return home until that's arranged? We time it so that you go straight from orientation with a trainer. So again, for those who have experience, you won't need to go with a trainer. But someone who doesn't have 6 months of experience, you're coming out of school and that's how you're approved, then yes, you will go directly with a trainer. So you go from orientation to training. The reason we do that is because one, it gets expensive sending you back home after you've completed training, and it's more downtime for you. And that can be frustrating if you're having to wait for a trainer, and we understand that. So we want to make it as smooth as possible. And because more freight is up here in the Midwest, because we've been in Fort Dodge, started in 1931, so we've got a lot of freight in the area. It's easier for us to get you around the Iowa area, or our trainers in the Iowa area to get you. So yeah, you'd be coming straight from here. So you'll get probably with your trainer Friday night or maybe even Monday morning. So you might be hanging out over the weekend. But again, we take care of your hotel and your meals while you're here. And we do have cars available, like that you can not rent out, but you can sign out with our welcome center if you need to get some errands done, whether you're, so somebody who's coming in and getting maintenance done on the truck and stuff, they can sign out a car for a couple of hours to run some errands. But we try to keep as many amenities as possible at the terminal so that you don't have to run all over for it. Obviously, not all of our terminals have multiple amenities, but Fort Dodge, Missoula, I think Bessemer too, we have showers and laundry facilities, so we've got free laundry. We've got the driver's lounge, which is a nice comfy TV and couch, and the TV's not comfy, but the couch is. Seating. We have some private rooms in the Missoula one as well, which has the big lounge chair, a desk, so desk, telephone, TV. You can close the door, just kind of have your own space for a minute. What else can I tell you? And then, of course, the commons area with vending machines and coffee and all of that good stuff. So we have that. In Des Moines, we don't have the big driver's lounge, and we have a driver's lounge, but we don't have the big amenities like the laundry facilities. But we do have a car that you can sign out for a couple of hours so that you can go and do laundry while your truck is getting maintained. So if you're going through an A or B service, we can go ahead and sign you out a car so that you can go get the laundry done or run some errands, whatever it is that you need to get done. We have a couple of those at our different locations. George says that's nice, so you don't have to bobtail to get groceries or do laundry. Right. That's the whole idea, is to save some time and make it a little more convenient for you. Now, again, usually people are taking advantage of that when their truck is in the shop, but not necessarily. Maybe you're just at the terminal and it'd be way easier hopping in a car and going to, Walmart or wherever, the grocery store, Hy-Vee, to get your goods, right? All right. So the minimum pay, we talked about that. Minimum pay requirements, I should say. Be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. No load refusals. No driver service failures. No preventable accidents for the week. No CSA violations for the week. And get your paperwork in on time. 6 requirements. Not a big deal, but those are what they are. You get paid every Friday direct deposit. So your paperwork has to be in by Tuesday night at 10 p.m. in order to get paid Friday for it. And again, your rate of pay per mile and the miles you run, if they exceed your minimum pay, and the minimum pay is going to be set based off of the division you're running for. If you're in the home weekly flatbed position in the Midwest, that is, you live in St. Louis or Chicago, it's $14.50 a week. The same minimum requirements, it's just a little bit higher pay. Shorter runs, do you want to give you a heads up there? Those are some shorter runs, but you have that cushion, so every week you'll get that $14.50 as long as you meet all of those requirements. So pretty basic, but holding both sides accountable on that one. And let's see, then we have our refrigerated. Oh, I didn't mention we have our local hopper position. It runs from Fort Dodge, Iowa to Blair, Nebraska. This is a hopper position. We do have 2 of these. We had a couple more a few weeks ago. We had some of our current drivers who had requested to move on over, which is definitely doable. You have to live within 25-mile radius of Fort Dodge in order to qualify. We have a 6:30 a.m. We have a 6:30 a.m. shift and a 5:30 p.m. shift that are currently available. They pay differently because it pays per shift. The 6:30 a.m. shift, that one pays $225 per shift Monday through Friday. I had to think about this for a second. $225 per shift Monday through Friday. If you're running on a Saturday or Sunday, it pays $250 for that 6:30 a.m. shift. Okay. The rotation is 2 days on, 2 days off, 3 days on, 3 days off, back to 2 on, 2 off, 3 on, 3 off. And then it just keeps rotating. So about every third week, you'll have a 3-day weekend. Now, in the 5:30 p.m. shift, that one starts at $250 per shift, and it goes to $275 on the Saturday and Sunday shifts. So Monday through Friday, $250, $275 for Saturday and Sunday. Cool. Whether it be just Saturday or just Sunday, along with Friday or Monday. Did I say Sunday? Yeah. Sometimes I talk so fast I gotta double check myself here. So we've got that. We have a clean truck policy, which is another perk that we've got. That is, and I'm trying to think of when the drawing will be for that. We'll have to give you an update on it. But that's another perk that we've got. The clean truck policy was actually started or suggested by a couple of our professional drivers, and taking pride in your ride is what we call it. And we not only, when you're coming in for like an A or B service, the maintenance department will fill out a form. It's like not so much a checklist, but just like a qualifying form survey on the truck and how well kept it is. And if you have the highest ranking, then your name and truck number will go into a drawing for a cash or for a opportunity at a $500 gift card. So that can be pretty fun. It's always fun to get, and then every once in a while you'll get perks for $25 gift cards and stuff like that. What else? We do truck washes, monthly truck washes in the winter months. You gotta wash your truck a little bit more often. We get that, so we usually do 2 truck washes a month. In anything, I think it's 5 months, so it's November, December, January, February, March, or is it October, November? I think it's October, November, December, January, February that we do 2 a month instead of 1 a month. And of course, you can get it done while you're out on the road. That's when you're done on the road. You can get it washed every single day at one of the terminals. So that's obviously a perk to take advantage of. George says, plus bragging rights on the clean truck. Dang rights. Plus, clean truck always makes a great photo, right? We'll probably be announcing them soon, but we have, for the last 4 years, we've been doing an annual calendar, and you can kind of see it behind me here. Our calendar is made up of pictures or photos from our professional drivers that they've taken along the way. And yeah, clean trucks take better photos. But yeah, we get some beautiful submissions, and we start collecting those submissions the moment we start. We've ended 1 year and started another. So, when it comes to collecting all of those images, you can start sending them into marketing@deckermail.com. Marketing@deckermail.com. If you have a photo you would like to be into next year's calendar, feel free. Send them in. We'll do it. We like to know where it's at, and of course your name. So your name and the location of the photo, so that we can put that on there. Cool? All right. But that was just a side note. What else do we have for programs that are going on right now? Every quarter we also do our safety trainings, and those who complete the safety trainings within the first 24 hours, your name is put into a drawing for an opportunity to win gift cards as well. So these are the things that we do over and beyond the monthly bonuses, the driver appreciation gifts. I mean, because obviously during driver appreciation week, we go all out and have all kinds of fun and prizes. Those are nonstop. But we do like to do things, throughout the year as well for not only recognizing, but celebrations throughout. So that's always fun. Speaking of celebrations, we spoke briefly about the drawing for the referral bonus, which is on the 2nd of January this year, or not this year, but next year. That said, with the end of the referral bonus, if anybody has referred 5 or more drivers within the calendar year who have hired on, your name goes into the running for the Grand Champion referral bonus. That's an extra $2,500 plus a referral jacket. If you've had, that adds up. Last year, Sonny Henry, he won with and made over $11,000 in referral bonus alone. 11,000, not too shabby, right? And then we also had a winner in 2019, Jesse Torres as well. So yeah, 11,000. And Sonny's was all like within the third quarter. Yeah. George says, any visitors welcome to tour your facility or main terminal? Yes, absolutely. We have a welcome center that will kind of guide you that way, and we can do that. Just to to kind of give you the ins and outs. We have every once in a while, like with Fort Dodge, we have a leadership. I'm trying to think of what it's called, leadership council, but it's a citywide organization that we've done in the past where it'll be held sometimes at the terminal, and you'll be able to kind of see inside and get behind the scenes type thing. It's a beautiful terminal. Fort Dodge is a beautiful terminal. Missoula, now that one was built in so Fort Dodge, the new section, a new part of the terminal was built in 2006, but it is grand. It has a big pond in the front, just absolutely beautiful. And Missoula was built 2013. We started the terminal in Missoula in 2010, and then it was built in 2013, so it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, you're welcome. You'll just need to check in at the front desk, and then there at the front desk in the main building will be Steph. Steph is also the one who will bring you into the store if you guys are looking for Christmas gifts or gifts for others who anything Decker related. You can get a hold of her. Yeah. She'll hook you up. She knows where they're at. But she's fantastic. And she does a lot of the ordering too. So if there's something specific that you're looking for, let her know, and she can look into possible options for future storing or ordering. Cool. All right. And if she's not there, Katie's in control. A 389? Yeah, no doubt. So the 389s, you guys might see those out and about. The 570 or the 579 Peterbilts are the ones that we have the majority of. They're automatics. And the 389s, those usually are assigned to our veteran drivers, people who've been here, driven for Decker for 15 plus years. They get to spec the trucks a little bit, so some of those are manual instead of the automatics. And, they're double bunk, but they're not. The 579s, so the 389s look amazing, right? Those are like the classic, just beautiful chrome, and they're gorgeous. But they aren't as roomy as the 579s, especially if you have a rider with you. The 579s give you a little bit more elbow room, but the 389s are pretty sweet, gotta say. Alan says, hey, Alan, I'd like to join your team and commit to investing 3 to 4 months out, but I live in Phoenix. Can you help me? Alan, what I would do is reach out to the recruiting department. 3 to 4 months out at a time is a lot. I definitely, I hate to have you wear out because being out on the road. But I do know a lot of our professional drivers do prefer to stay out that long. That's just kind of their rotation. We don't currently have any positions available out of Phoenix, but when you're staying out 3 or 4 months at a time, there could be some flexibility. So the best thing to do is to speak to the recruiting department, and then they can speak to operations directly and get approval on that. But without, I currently, I couldn't answer that question without speaking to the operations department. And the reason we do that is because we want to make sure that if or when somebody needs to get home, we can accommodate. With our hiring locations changing from week to week or month to month, it's based off of how many drivers we have at that location and how much freight we have at that location. So if we've increased freight, obviously we can increase the number of professional drivers in that area because we can then get you home. But if freight isn't heavy in that area, we don't tend to bring more drivers in because we don't want that to affect those who we've already promised home time in Phoenix. Those who live in Phoenix are usually home every 2 to 3 weeks. So, and that's refrigerated. So, but again, it's not currently in the hiring area, so I would check with recruiting to get a solid answer from operations. To be safe. Don't want to be telling you one thing and then something contradicts me, right? Yeah, the recruiting department be like, what are you telling people? No big deal. No. Yeah. So just to recap, make sure that I'm covering all my grounds for available positions. We have the hopper positions, 2 hopper positions, 1 morning, 1 evening. They're roughly about 8-hour shifts. They run from Fort Dodge, Iowa to Blair, Nebraska. And those are based out of Fort Dodge, Iowa, so you have to live within a 25-mile radius. We have over-the-road refrigerated, regional refrigerated, over-the-road flatbed, regional flatbed, home weekly options in both of those. And then we also have a local position out of Bessemer, Alabama. That's a local flatbed position that requires 5 years of experience. I know the requirement is high, but we want to make sure that it's somebody who really knows flatbed. There's a lot of tarping and securing, and with so many different types of loads going from coils, steel beams, sheetrock or wallboard, building supplies, a lot of different ones. Every once in a while we'll get car wash, like the interiors of car wash, we'll get those as well. So we don't do a lot of oversized, really don't do oversized or step deck or heavy loads. We don't do that, but it's usually building supplies that we're doing for flatbed. But it is still a variety of different loads that you'll need to know how to tarp and secure. We do the training for tarping and securing in our other divisions, but this one is so hands-on. It is, again, it's hourly pay. It's so hands-on that we want to make sure that we're putting somebody that in that position that really knows it well, because they're setting up some of our over-the-road and regional drivers with secured loads. So little working together there, making sure we're covering each other's, just taking care of it, right? Cool. Yeah. So if you have any more questions, we will be live next week, of course, but you can also reach out to the recruiting department at 877-433-2537. Benefits all start after 60 days. I briefly mentioned that earlier, but benefits include Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's an 80-20 plan. Dental, vision, prescription. You guys, I love our new prescription program. It is a $0 copay for generic. We've got brand name $0 copays and some specialty drugs. And Stephen mentioned this yesterday, and I had no idea that any of our professional drivers were saving this much money. I knew we had a lot that were saving money, $700 a month. That's huge to me, $700, $800 a month. Stephen said he saved $1,800 a month on one prescription. One prescription that obviously he needs to have. $1,800 a month. Huge savings. I cannot give our HR and benefits coordinators enough credit and shout outs for sticking with going after some top tiered benefits for our professional drivers. It's fantastic. Not just our professional drivers, but our in-house as well. It's impressive that we can do that kind of savings. So huge shout out. Anyways, we have, for more benefits, we have a 401k as well. It's a 50% match on the 401k. Paid life insurance, paid vacation, which is 1 week after 6 months, and another week after 1 year. And then after 2 years, you get, after 3 years, you get it 2 weeks. After 7 years, you get it 3 weeks. But of course, you'll get them annually. We'll reload that vacation time for you annually. It just goes up in those increments. So, yeah. Anyways, for more questions, get a hold of the recruiting department, 877-433-2537. Danny, you are very welcome. Good. Love to be able to answer those. Thank you for asking. And yes, happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you guys. We'll be back here next Tuesday, so join me next Tuesday. But we'll be filling you in on some, keeping me updated on new YouTube videos throughout the week as well. And we'll be back on our Facebook page on Monday at 4 p.m. Central. So if you find us there, we'll answer questions there for you as well. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I can't believe it's already been an hour. I've been flying by. But you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Please stay safe and please check out the Weather Channel or the forecast. There's a Facebook group out there too, the Weather and Forecast, that has been very, very helpful. It's specifically for truck drivers, and I know I follow them because they're updating some of the main areas that we run, Midwest, as well as parts of the Northwest, which is our refrigerated division in the South. But yeah, thanks you guys for all that. Okay, stay safe. We will see you next week. Take care.